Hey Hannah!
Hi Sam.
Have you thought about what we're going to do for our lit class next week?
I have actually, I'm just thinking about it. Why don't you have a seat for a while?
Alright.
Alright, so the last time we were in, you remember, we gave them the KWL charts and we got them to fill in what they know about plot in chapter 6 and then what they want to know about plot in chapter 6. So I've looked through all their submissions and I've used ticks to indicate, right ideas about what happens in the chapter. I've circled misconceptions they presented, and I've also used question marks to sort of address things I don't understand in what they've written. Then after looking through everybody's, I used 3 shapes. Okay, I've used circle, square, and a triangle to indicate their different readiness. So the circles represent high readiness, and the squares represent mid readiness, and the triangles for low readiness.
Okay, so how are we going to use this information in your lesson?
Good question. So I was kind of thinking of using it to help with the grouping. I could have homogeneous groups or heterogeneous groups depending on the spread of the readiness. Ideally, it's going to be fairly mixed. All right, and I think that will help them, be more ready to engage in discussion. And hopefully have more in-depth conversation later on. And to help them have more independent conversation and discussion, I have actually 3 group roles, that I've described here. So I have the discussion director, I have a passage master, and I have a scribe. And I want to let them choose which positions, which roles they want to have, because I think giving them autonomy for group roles is also part of differentiated instruction. I think in the lesson, once they've had that discussion, then I'll give them back these KWL charts, and then they'll fill in what they've learned, and this will serve as an AFL tool for their learning and also a data point for us to decide how we might do the next lesson with them.
Anne-Marie watched with a kind of frightened fascination as the pair approached. The 2 words, frightened and fascination, even though they're not related to each other, why do you think this actually makes an interesting point in this sentence?
Because even though those 2 words are quite unusual to be together, I think it makes sense because she was frightened, but then she was also curious, you know?
Yeah, I also think that it's quite unusual because I thought that she was just fascinated because the soldier was probing his teeth.
So Sam, what did you think of the lesson we had earlier?
I thought that it was a great lesson. I think it was excellently planned, and I think the kids took really well to it.
I think if I had to choose an area for me to improve on, it would be the presenter for Passage A.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was, quite reluctant and a bit hesitant to share. She was clearly nervous.
Yeah.
And I wish I had, been a bit more helpful when she was going through that.
I think, you know, when we sense that a student feels slightly nervous when being called upon suddenly, that there are a few options for us to do. We could maybe tell her that, you know, you can ask a friend for help, and then she might feel a little bit more supported in that instance. Yeah.
I think overall the lesson went really smoothly.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to us planning it really, really well. I think there's a lot of room for exploration and these different ideas that come with differentiated instruction.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try it out in my other classes too.
In fact, we have lesson with 2E2 again.
Yeah, we do, so we can
tomorrow morning.
have it tomorrow.
Yeah.